Michael Bianco-Splann here, once again discussing conscious leadership in an AI world. Over the past 4 weeks, we've explored principles that align to stepping into consciousness in the way in which we lead. This journey through the 7 principles of my book, Conscious Leadership, 7 Principles That Will Change Your Business and Change Your Life, calls to each of us to step into a differentiated level of presence and awareness. Why is this important? Because the world that we're experiencing is increasingly moving us into a virtual adherence where technology supplants our thinking, our behavior, and the way in which we connect with one another. The virtual digital platform we live in, while telling us that it's bringing us closer together, paradoxically is pulling us away from the actual human connection. Now, this is certainly a dramatic consideration when exploring the impacts of artificial intelligence or AI. Each of the conscious principles discussed demands that we turn off this thing we call the autopilot that operates oftentimes unconsciously and minimizes our ability to effectively step into the many different facets of a changing world. Today, we'll explore the 5th principle, to be a transformative communicator. But let's acknowledge up front that communication in a contemporary world is anything but simple, right? To say that we communicate to convey information or to find social connection or even to express ourselves fails to aptly describe the many facets of our present reality. Now, in the last video, I shared information from the Center for Human Technology how artificial intelligence has dramatically impacted the collective over the last decade. Let's dive in a little bit deeper into the connection between communication and AI. First off, let's agree that communication in its simplest form is about sharing. Sharing of information or data, sharing of ideas, thoughts, opinions, perspectives, and yes, even feelings. And in sharing, we're generally talking about sharing with other human beings. And as humans have evolved, so too is how we've communicated with one another. As technology has actually advanced over the past several decades, the simplicity of talking to one another live and in person or even over wire-based phones has now evolved to wireless communications, inputting data into complex computer systems, using satellites, and a host of encrypted technologies. In the video, The AI Dilemma, that I mentioned last week, Raskin and Harris spoke to what they refer to as the first AI contact, that being social media. And in the presentation, they illustrated the unintended consequences that social media has and the fact that these consequences have not been effectively mitigated, addressed, or contained within protective safeguards, that the impact has significantly harmed a wide swath of the collective, particularly the younger generation. With these new advances in generative large language AI, developers such as Microsoft and Google, while telling the public that they're responsible developers and creators, leave us unconsciously drinking the Kool-Aid that these new technologies are the miracle force in providing positive benefits from anything from education, medicine, climate change, scientific discoveries, to ultimately solving other human dilemmas, all within the fingertips of using applications like Microsoft's CHATGPT. And this new technology tool has become wildly popular over the first few months on the internet, with surpassing 1 million users within the first week. It's understandable that the popularity is there, no doubt. But what are the inverse consequences of now offering human beings the ability to arrive at solutions otherwise the product of our thinking, our creativity, and our innate human abilities? And most importantly, what's the impact to children using tools such as ChatGPT in learning how to write, think, rationalize, problem solve, deal with conflict, successfully navigate social situations, and to communicate? Now, I'm not here to answer these important questions, but rather to invite you to consider all the ramifications of a rapidly changing environment with AI technologies. My ultimate goal is to illustrate that we, collectively, need to question the world that we're currently living in and raise our voices to demand ethics, controls, and thoughtful legislation to protect against non-regulated corporate dissemination of what could be very destructive technologies. Conscious leadership is all about the human connection. Being a transformative communicator is understanding that communication is more than the words that are spoken, images seen, data collected, and/or messages received via text, email, social media, or the pixels on a screen. Listening beyond the words requires presence and awareness, along with the ability to seek understanding beyond our own belief systems, biases, and worldviews. Conscious leadership requires establishing an environment of trust, transparency, and psychological safety for those that you lead and serve. Communications in this way ensures that there's an energetic flow of authenticity and that you're open to others in sharing their perspectives, opinions, ideas, and recommendations, as well as allowing them to fail, to learn, and to grow. Now, in the dynamic of a human interaction, there's three components: the words, the tone of voice, and body language or nonverbals. As a training facilitator and a professional coach, I often will ask the question, of the three parts of a human interaction, which is most important? And quite often, the response is the words. Yet, words represent the smallest of the impacts. Body language and nonverbals far outweigh the other two factors. The truth is, when dealing with those that you lead and serve, not unlike small children with parents, what they're actually doing is watching you. So the term, "you're always on," is true when you're leading your teams. But in the changing world that's emerged since the pandemic, where virtual meetings become much more the norm in our business world, what was a three-dimensional work environment now has become a two-dimensional Zoom call. Yet the same dynamics apply, just in a more linear view. Communication in this way pulls us away from the human connection that comes from being live and in person. When we speak of AI, the discussion now centers on technology being large language, generative large language model. But in its simplest form, language and the words we use to convey ourselves create both the ability to communicate and the quality of the communication. It's easy to answer questions and/or requests from others by quick texts or abbreviated acronyms or even funny emojis. However, attuning to the quality of your communication may require more than a simple thumbs up or a smiley face. Being a transformative communicator means that despite the rapidly accelerating world of AI, we remember that in human connection, we're able to find true and meaningful understanding that fosters and contributes to that which supports humanity and allows you to effectively and consciously step into a differentiated level of leadership. The type that is demanded in a world that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. I hope this video inspires you to bring consciousness into your leadership. Join me next week as we continue to explore conscious leadership in an AI world. Until then, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you'd like to know more about my work as a professional coach, an organizational performance consultant, motivational speaker, spiritual mentor, emotional intelligence trainer and practitioner, please go to my website, illuminateambitions.com. That's illuminateambitions.com. If you'd like to explore working with me as a coach, please go to my website and sign up for a free consultation. My books, Conscious Leadership, 7 Principles That Will Change Your Business and Change Your Life, and Dying to Live, A Tapestry of Reinvention, can be found on Amazon.com. Until next time, Michael Bianco-Splann saying, be a conscious leader. Be a transformative communicator.